Hello and welcome to the quick video about this thing here. This is how to set up tracked models on this MT12. This is one of the new ground radios from Radio Master, and for those of you that have been using ground radios for a long time and you're happy with them, you know what, you're probably looking at this thinking, yeah, there's nothing in there that I really need. However, lots of people get in touch with me trying to program traditional EdgeTX powered radios to run their ground vehicles because they do more than steering and acceleration. They have lots of gadgets and accessories on their models. And for things like that, this is a fantastic option. Now this time I'm going to actually show you how to set up a tracked vehicle, i.e. one that has some kind of combined steering and throttle to make the vehicle move on the ground. I have set up things like this before on traditional radios, but now the MT12 is here. Let me show you exactly the steps to go through. Again, this video is aimed at those of you that are relatively new to EdgeTX, so if there's anything you would like me to show you, then do put a comment down below and I'll make additional videos. So let me show you what this mix setup looks like on the radio for a tracked vehicle. So let's press and hold the power button. That's going to turn it on.
Welcome to EdgeTX.
And then what we're going to do is just watch the channels 1 and 2 on the screen as I move the steering. You see they're going in opposite directions, so the tracks are moving in opposite directions. However, when I pull the trigger for the throttle, now we are moving forward and now we're turning. If I keep turning the steering, one of the tracks will actually go in the negative direction. Again, I can go all forward or all back. And again, the steering controls the direction I'm going in. So let's create this from scratch. Again, this is a video aimed at those of you that are brand new to EdgeTX that maybe have got this because you have more complicated models. So let's go into the model menu and let's go and select a currently empty model slot. So here's all my models listed. We can just scroll through them and select them by pressing and holding the enter key down here on the scroll wheel, but we'll select 8 and we'll press enter and it'll ask us to create a model. We'll hit enter again. At the moment, with the version of EdgeTX that we have here, that just creates a very simple basic model. In future, there'll be wizards that will allow you to select it. But now if we do the page key, because what you'll notice is up here, this is actually one of 2. Hopefully you can see that on the video. As I go through, there are individual pages for the setup, the heli setup. You can turn that off because I'm not sure you will be flying a helicopter with this, but then we have the drive modes, inputs, mixes, outputs, curves, logical switches, special functions, telemetry, and the display screens. And then we're back to the beginning. Now, what I would recommend is going into the inputs first of all, and here are the 2 inputs that we've got. We've got one for the throttle input and one for the steering. I would add a little bit of expo in the steering. So what we're going to do, we'll go down and select the steering, press and hold enter, and we'll say that we want to edit. We can go down here and we can add a little bit of expo. I always add a little bit of expo, just makes things easier to do. Go for a positive number on EdgeTX, something like 25 or 30 is not a bad place to start. So now we've done that, we'll press return to get out of it. And again, so that's all we need to do really on that particular screen. Next one we'll do then is we will go across onto the mixes page. And this is where the majority of work is going to be done because we need to mix the steering and the throttle together. And EdgeTX makes it very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to press and hold while we have the throttle selected. We're going to say copy and we're going to move down until it's underneath the steering on channel 2 and we're going to hit enter. So now channel 2 has the steering and the throttle together. Then we're going to highlight the steering, hold enter again, click copy, and then we're going to move that right to the very top and hit enter. So now we have 2 channels, both of which have the throttle and the steering together. However, although we want the throttle to move in the same direction, we want the steering to move in the opposite direction. So we may have to change this when we set it with a model, but one of these for the steering has to be reversed. Let's reverse the second one. So we'll highlight it, press and hold enter, say edit, and then what we're going to do, this is the weight, and this will say how much steering that we want. If we want less of a steering effect, then we could change it in here or even in the inputs. But for now, we'll just change the direction. Enter to select it, it'll start flashing. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to rock it down to -100. There we go. And if we exit out of that, we can now see, if I move this cursor out of the way, that the steering is different. On channel 1, it's a positive number. Channel 2, it's a negative number. Now, if we come out of this all the way, here's our channel monitor screen. Now we should find, as we pull the trigger for the throttle, both channels 1 and 2 go up. There they are. And as we turn, one of them is going down. And in fact, there we go. We can actually do it all the way. Now, the amount of the steering that goes through and the throttle can be changed. And if you're going to change it everywhere on the radio, you change it in the inputs. If you want to particularly tweak things, you change it on the outputs. A couple of other little tips I'll give you. Hopefully you're still with me for this. The other thing that I would do is I would set yourself up some kind of throttle cut so that if you accidentally bump the throttle control, nothing's going to happen. So what we'll do is we will go across until we get to special functions. These are all currently blank. We'll hit enter. And then what we'll do is we will move the switch we're interested in into the position that we want, and that will automatically select the switch in the menu. So let's say we'll have it all the way here. This is switch A that's directly underneath the steering, and we'll hit enter, and we'll say override channel 1 and 2. So what we'll do is we'll say override channel 1 as 0. Make sure that's selected, because that little box at the end has to be ticked for it to work. We'll do the same thing. So we'll move A into the same position. This time we'll override channel 2. These are output channels as well, like that. There we go. So that's now, when that switch is in that position, it's going to disable all the controls. So let me just show you what that looks like. So my steering works fine. If I move switch A into that position, it pops everything back in the middle and everything stops. So that is a very basic setup for something like a tracked vehicle. If you have any other suggestions or ideas or things you want to see on this radio, then do please let me know. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.